Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm on the road. We got a chance to hang out with my friend Such, take a look at some of the guns he had, and the ones we're looking at today are these Rock Island Armory TCM pistols. So they're pretty interesting. The caliber is interesting. And then I've reviewed Rock Island 1911s here on the channel. They're sort of entry-level design 1911s. And this one has the ability to change cartridges and fire both 9mm as well as the new 22TCM cartridge, which we'll get into in detail coming up next. We're looking at two different guns today, and both of them are going to chamber the 9mm round and the 22 TCM. We have our full-size 5-inch model with the rail on the bottom, and we also have our 4.25-inch Commander style 1911. This one also has the accessory rail. So basically, they're pretty similar all around with the exception of the barrel length. Other than that, they're going to be pretty similar, so we'll set one aside and get into the details. Both of these guns have a lot of features in terms of what you get for your money. So first off, they come with two 10-round mags. The mags work for both 22 TCM and 9mm and are going to hold the same capacity for both calibers. Moving on to the pistol itself, we have VZ grips there and very good traction on there. VZ is known for making some great grips, and they have the cutout here as well, so you can easily reach that mag release even with smaller hands. The pistol comes with a flat mainspring housing, a mag well as well for easy reloads, so that way even if you're a little bit off when you're going in there, you just keep going and it will seat the magazine regardless. The safety here, the grip safety, has a nice memory bump on there and the extended beaver tail, so you can get very high up on the back of the pistol, allowing you to take advantage, I should say, of the 1911's low bore access. Up front here, we have this very small logo compared to some of the ones we've reviewed in the past here, which sort of had the billboard Rock Island Armory across there. They listened to the feedback and realized a lot of folks didn't like it and moved it to the back. The safety on the pistol is ambidextrous, so your lefties and righties will be equally at home using it. And as you can see there, it locks in very positively both in the up and down positions. Up front here, one of the criticisms I'll have of the gun is these serrations here. In my opinion, if you're not going to do checkering, the serrations shouldn't be vertical like this. They should be horizontal, so that way you'll have some traction up front. But that's a minor critique, it's just something to point out there. The pistol's hammer is the Commander style hammer, which I really like there. And the sights are actually really nice as well. You have a 2-dot white sight in the rear and fiber optic up front. The rear sight is adjustable for both windage and elevation, and that fiber optic sight really does jump out at you when you're looking at it and looking over the sights. As you've already noticed, overall the finish on the pistol is really nice. It's a Parkerized finish, which gives you a lot of bang for the buck, and although it's nicked up there from some use for both me and Such using it, it certainly looks pretty good. Nice even finish all the way throughout. In the pistol now, we have it configured for 22 TCM, and here's a 9mm barrel you get with it. You can see a nice crown on both of them, and you also notice that there's a recoil spring over here, and that's for the 9mm. Now, in the gun, the recoil spring is the TCM recoil spring, which is a 9-pound spring, and you can see how easily that slide rides. It's very smooth, and that light spring really helps run the slide. To swap calibers, you really just have to take the pistol down, put in the new parts, and then reassemble. And the 9mm barrel is going to take a 12-pound recoil spring, which is a little bit harder to run the slide with, but still relatively easy overall. On the left here, we have the 22 TCM spring, and on the right here, we have the 9mm spring. So again, to reassemble it is just the opposite with those two parts installed. Now, I like keeping them apart in a separate bag so that way we don't interchange them. One thing of note, you'll also see while we have it disassembled, it does have the full-length guide rod. Really, if it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. I don't really have a preference either way with this versus the Jihad. Here we have our Federal HST round, and then we have the TCM round. This is a 124 grain bullet, chambered in 9mm. Now, this looks very similar to the 9mm, but in fact, it's a cut down 223 case. While the case dimensions are a little bit different, the extractor is designed to work with both the 9mm and the 22 TCM, so really all you have to change is the barrel and the spring like we just saw. For all you reloaders out there, there are dies available for it, so you can reload the 22 TCM. Now the 22TCM cartridge is going to be going at about 2,000 feet per second and is going to give you over 300 foot-pounds of energy. So I know one of the biggest debated things that folks down in the comment section below is going to be how effective a cartridge is. The reality is, honestly, I don't know. I've seen some gel testing of it, but I don't know of any recorded instances of self-defense shooting or anything like that, so I'm not sure how it's performed in the real world. That said, 300 foot-pounds of energy with a very low recoil impulse is something that a lot of people are going to look for, especially considering that 9-pound recoil spring on there makes it super easy to manipulate the slide. So with an aging population, folks that have arthritis, a lot of new female shooters getting into the game, that's something that's going to attract them to it without question. And when you keep in mind that these pistols are coming in both, I should say, the 9mm and 22TCM barrels, it's sort of like getting a 2-for-1, if you will. So while some people may not like the 22TCM round, and at least right now I think it's going for a little bit below 40 cents a round, if that's a problem for you or you're having a hard time getting it, you can just obviously throw the 9mm barrel in there, and that stuff's pretty plentiful out there, and you have a proven cartridge that certainly has proved itself in self-defense shootings over the years. So that's kind of how I look at it. These pistols are both coming to market right now. Somewhere I looked online today in the $600 to $700 range. So for that, you certainly get a quality pistol. Rock Island Armory has great customer service, as well as many of you guys know, and it's got a lot of features, like I said, for the money. If you guys have any questions about these pistols, anything else, you can always post below in the comment section. You can also post over at my Facebook page, as always. We're out here, as you can see, shooting on location, so if you hear any noise in the background, I do apologize. We did our best to bring this review to you here in the field, if you will. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next video.